We didn't want it to be just about our children. We wanted it to be about all the faces involved in these crashes, and there's approximately 37 every day that die in the United States, and to us that's unacceptable. And these are real people with real families that are devastated. And we just refuse to let these faces be just statistics on a statistics page where it's accepted, they're dead, they're gone, move on with your life. And that's easier said than done. So that's what that's about.
And what's the 4?
The 4 is actually for how old Devin was when he was killed in this crash. That's the one personal touch we threw in the name. So Devin was 4 years old when he was killed.
Mike, you have such a positive attitude. And you're driven to success with this, and you've done something that most people only dream of. They think, well, we need a foundation, we need to do something, we need to change the world, and maybe it's the tragic nature of this that's caused this to happen. But you're such a positive and upbeat person, and as I said before, you turned your grief into a force of energy, and that's remarkable. It's uncommon.
Thank you, thank you. Well, Nicole was a daddy's girl. Even at 23, she was at my house every day. I saw Devin born. She wouldn't let me leave the delivery room when it was time to go. So she was a real daddy's girl, and I just couldn't let this go. Any parent that has a child taken from them in this type of a way, whether it be a murder or a car crash, and it's so sudden, you feel the need to do something. And I had to fight for my little girl. She's not here to fight anymore, so I have to fight for my little girl and my grandson, and let people know that this is happening to families every day, and it's not acceptable, and we really need to wake up and quit killing each other.
Yeah, there you go. That's the message for today. Let's quit killing each other. Mike Donovan is one of the co-founders of FACES4.org. I want to talk more about his story, some of the outreach he's done, some of the interaction he's done with the schools and other community groups. I know that you have spoken extensively throughout the state of Illinois, and we want to talk a little bit about that, and especially for those educators out there, community leaders, organizational leaders who maybe need to get this message out to their public. And so let's hang on to you for a little bit longer. Let's take a commercial break, and we'll be back with more right after this. And that sort of thing, but if I can hold this right for the camera.
And those are actually our cars, families that are part of FACES4.
These are actual, these are cars, these are families who have lost their lives here in our state of Illinois, in our regional area, in the Chicagoland region, who have lost their lives, their loved ones' lives in a car crash. And it can happen in an instant.
And it does, in the blink of an eye, and people don't realize just how dangerous it is. You see these nice cars, we feel safe in our cars, they're 5-star, test rated and all this other stuff, but once the airbags and the crumple zones do their job in these high-speed crashes, the rest of this energy has to go somewhere, and it goes into our bodies, and our bodies are not built to absorb that kind of abuse. And I hear it all the time from people I speak to. I speak to thousands of people every year, and they all tell me the same thing. I didn't know. Thanks for telling me. I just didn't realize that speeding, I could really kill somebody. They know if I'm drinking, I shouldn't drive, I could kill somebody, but we're just not putting those two together, speeding kills, yet. And that's what we're here to do, is just try to raise awareness, number one, and let people know you're not bad people because you're doing it, but you need to think now, because if you've heard my story, maybe you should think about it. You don't want to lose your own family member or be the cause of somebody like Nicole and Devin being killed. Mm-hmm. How would you live with that if you did that, you know?
And I'm glad you're here today. Of course, we're watching the seasons change.
Oh my gosh.
And it seems like the cold weather, people forget how to drive. But then again, come springtime, they forget how to drive. Holidays, they forget how to drive. And we don't need any excuse to forget how to drive and to forget things that should make such perfect sense, like if you're driving too fast, somebody could get hurt.
We're so preoccupied. We're so busy in our lives now. From the time we get up to the time we go to bed, we were talking about this earlier, how you're just booked from the time you start till the time you go to bed, and you don't think 10 or 15 miles speeding from destination to destination's a big deal. You're just looking at it as, I'm going to get there quicker. You really don't get there that much quicker.
You have brought with you some posters. I
Yes.
wanted to ask you about these. These were all created, teenagers created these?
Correct. Dee's son Matt went to Wabansie Valley High School, and we had a contest at the high school to come up with slogans for FACES4 when we first started. We did the contest. The kids came up with all these slogans. We took the best 3 that we have here and put the graphics to them, and we gave the kids prizes. And it's really, we try to work a lot with the teenagers and come up and work with them instead of having a bunch of old farts come up with programs that the teenagers need to listen to, because they're not going to listen to them.
This is one of them. Rules of the roads are more than suggestions. This one's a little bit different. Life in the fast lane doesn't always get you where you want to go. That one's pretty intense visual image, and this one very simple.
Keep hard speeding, stop the speeding.
And the one thing I think is unique about your group is that you're touching hearts wherever you go, and whoever you talk to. As you said, people are struck by the message that you're giving out and saying, I forgot, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, thanks for reminding me, thanks for telling me. And that's incredible. And you're also doing it in quite a splashy way. And like I said, some foundations just can't get off the ground, but you are able to do this, and you're doing us all a great service. You've got the support of the Illinois Department of Transportation. Once again, as you said, for 4 years running, they've been supporting you in your palm cards that you're handing out. This is incredible in this day and age with our economy the way it is, that your message is so poignant. And I know you speak to groups, scout groups, community groups, schools.
Correct.
Who all has had you in?
Oh my gosh, the list is long. We do the driver's ed classes at quite a number of high schools, which are all listed on our website. Once we're actually in the schools, they want us to come back every single semester. Getting into the high schools was hard to begin with because they have so many programs to cipher through. But we felt it was a necessary message. We don't charge the schools for the speaking. We don't charge the police departments for the palm cards. We just feel the message is so strong. Everything we get, we put right back into the programs, and just try to grow and raise the awareness, especially in Illinois. We're still killing too many people on a daily basis from these kind of crashes.
Some of these statistics, you know, and some of these facts, they're not all statistics. They're interesting facts that you really don't even consider. First one, you know, that speeding is going to reduce your ability to steer around curves and objects. Yes. Well, we know that, but we don't think about it.
No, and you know, and like we were just talking about the weather. Well, you get a little snow on the ground, and then everybody's going to slow down because they realize, wow, I'm speeding, I can't stop. But they don't think, well, I'm going 15 or 20 over the speed limit. What am I going to do if something happens? How am I going to stop? They're not putting those two together yet in good weather. So.
Speeding extends the distance that you need to stop. That's something that I guess you could do on a chalkboard with a teenager, and maybe they'll get it. Maybe
we have a slide of a football field I show them, and at 65 miles an hour, you're traveling at 95 feet per second. It takes over a football field to stop that car between reaction time and stopping distance. Doesn't matter what kind of car, what kind of driver, or what kind of brakes, it's going to take over a football field to stop that car at 65 miles an hour. And when the kids see the visual of the football field, they go, all the kids have seen a football field. They know how big it is, and they go, wow, a whole football field at 65. Well, maybe I shouldn't go 65, especially when the speed limit's 55.
And you're right, because when we get on the expressway and we're all driving, we're assuming the guy in front of us is going to keep going that speed. Absolutely.
Well, tailgating is the biggest causes of car crashes in this country. There's more tailgating related crashes than anything.